E. Neal III, columnist for the Star Tribune, and he's ballyhooed. He lives in this part of town, so it was very nice for LaVelle E. Neal III to stop by Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center, home to the Minnesota Vikings. Come on into the radio studio and execute his toil with the 9 to noon cast. It is at LaVelle Neal via Twitter if you would like to follow him, and the columnist joins us now. When you, from the moment you got on the property, or maybe more specifically, when you walked into the palatial purple paradise, did you find yourself feeling it?
Feeling what?
The tranquility, serenity, and peace around here. I mean, maybe we're onto something big.
Well, it's not peaceful around here. You've got season ticket holders or fans frolicking on the field. I walk into the main waiting room. There's boxes of stuff to give away to fans stacked up.
What's wrong with that?
Looks like a doggone warehouse. There's activity going on, man.
We're a fan-first football team.
I don't know if it's peace and tranquility now.
There was a time, and you were covering the Twins for the Star Tribune at the time, and it feels like it might have been 15, 16 years ago. The team's slogan, the mantra, was you made the team. Well, the team was so bad a couple of years that you actually had a chance to make the team if you ran around the training facility like you're claiming you saw today. So, I don't know, man. Who knows? We won 13 last year. Maybe we're onto something big this year, Mr. Columnist.
Maybe your next kicker's out there somewhere.
Well, there are two. We have two here. We got the cat from Georgia. Looks like a linebacker. And we got Greg Joseph. So, hey, not everybody can have Butthead. Not everybody can have Kevin Butler, okay? He was clutch.
I'm thinking more like Bob Thomas.
Let me hit you with this to begin.
Robbie Gould.
Cousins, Goff, Love, or Fields? Best quarterback in the NFC North, and why?
I would have to take Kirk Cousins in that one because of the experience factor. He's got good receivers. Definitely the best. He may have the best non-quarterback position player in the NFL, and Justin Jefferson. He's accomplished. Goff has been better the last couple of years, but the whole body of work still irks me from the time with the Rams.
Yeah, like the trip to the Super Bowl hurt his cred, no doubt about it.
Jordan Love is last. He's last until he proves he's not last.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, your guy might be last if Love's good.
Yeah, well, possibly, but. It looks
he
like
can lead their team in rushing.
All the indications are that Justin Fields looks fantastic in camp. Now, I try not to get wound up about spring training or football training camp or hockey camp. Someone looking good during camp, especially the pads aren't on yet.
Yeah, well, I'll get excited for you.
Exactly. But,
DJ Moore.
I'm reading all this stuff. Coming out of Chicago.
I'm hearing and reading so many good things about the former Panther, and I've seen some highlights that maybe you've seen on social media, but I saw a little NFL Network thing, I think it was yesterday or the day before, 3-4 minutes on Bears camp. Bruh, now granted, we're not going against Leslie Frazier, Jeff Fisher, Fensick, and Plank, all right? However, you got to start somewhere. And holy cow, can DJ Moore run routes?
Yeah, he's a technician out there, man.
Yeah, I didn't know that about him.
Yeah, he's a pro's pro when it comes to running routes, and he's got great hands, and he's got the ability to separate, and get open. And he and Justin Fields have made some beautiful music so far. So they're really fired up about seeing where that's going. I just read a story yesterday in which they ranked the top 5 performers in Bears camp so far, and DJ Moore was ranked number 1.
Yeah. Ooh.
Fields was 2.
Hey.
Chase Claypool was 3, which threw me for a loop because I did not like anything from Chase last year.
Are you familiar with the name P.T. Barnum?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's the one that coined the phrase, there's a sucker born every day.
4th, former Minnesota Golden Gopher Terrell Lewis. 5th round pick.
The corner?
Has been getting some time with the ones.
Terrell Smith.
Oh, Terrell Smith.
Smith, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, 9 to noon. Loved him and was hoping the Vikings would take him on day 3.
I haven't seen him, but apparently he's got good size. He's got speed,
He's very fast.
So, well, Eberflus likes him. And he's been, like, I'm going to let you play with the ones a little bit here.
Wow. What about the Kane, Tyreek Stevenson?
But he's splitting with Tyreek now. They're both splitting time at that other corner spot.
Now, every video I've seen of DJ Moore, he's been absolutely scorching the Miami kid.
Yeah.
And that guy's a rookie?
Yeah, correct.
Hey. And Kyler Gordon's fifth. So, like I said, man, it's so early. No preseason games have been played.
I love preseason lists.
Well, what about Kendall Vildor?
Who cares? We've moved on.
Is he still on the team?
I believe so, yes.
What about the Utah guy with the long arms?
Jalen Johnson?
Yeah, he's fine.
Well, he's supposed to be. He's ballyhooed.
He's in line to get an extension. They just locked up Komet. I think they give him $40 million over 5 years. And
Cole's good.
He's solid. And he's chiseled his body.
I'm just waiting for the national pundits to come out and just get loud about the Cole Kmet deal, the way they did last year about Christian Kirk, and then he went out there and had 1,200 yards and like 8 touchdowns and tore it up in the playoffs.
Remember that? Yeah.
So the market is what the market is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how excited can you get? I'm on a Bears chat and they want to make these.
Oh my God!
They want to make these trades.
Well, hold on.
Fans want to sign.
You're on like a Reddit forum. You got buddies?
No, it's just
sending chainmail to each other.
Is Rube chat back?
This is a chat text string with Bears fans, and they want to go out and make big moves, and because this could put us over the top. It's like, the Bears are 3-14 last year. What are you talking about putting them over the top? I'll be happy they win 7 games this year.
I think 7-ish or 8 could be the high water mark for them.
Yes.
I know the Lions are hyped, and I know Dan Campbell's like, we know we're hyped, and we wish we didn't hear we were hyped. That's a freaking good team, man. That is a good overall team that has been constructed beautifully. They have one of the 5 best offensive lines in the NFL. And now they got this Alabama kid catching passes out of the backfield.
Oh, Gibbs,
with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Aiden Hutchinson. So if the Detroit Lions win 13 games, I'm not going to be flabbergasted.
Well, as long as they stop gambling online at the trading facility.
How about that? Company Wi-Fi.
That's LaVelle Neal III, a columnist for the Star Tribune. Maybe some more football, but definitely some Twins around the corner.
Why?
Because that's your fort, or as some people would say, your forte. And 9 to noon continues from TCOPC, your home for tranquility, serenity, peace, and Lolita and Tanqueray. We'll be right back.
Good Lord.
KFAN, The Fan.
Here comes 9 to noon into the penultimate. Kevin O'Connell had a press conference over the weekend with some very intriguing things to say about Kirk Cousins. We're going to play that back in the final segment. KOC, by the way, also is with Dan Barrero today. Big day for the Fan at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. Your home for the Minnesota Vikings, 9 to noon here at the TCO radio studio. Ack-ack-a-dack, give the perch a whack for Dan Cole, the common man, in the interim from noon until 3. And then bumper to bumper. We'll be out here at 3 o'clock today. Again, Kevin O'Connell, coach of the Minnesota Vikings, will be joining Dan, and that will be a fantastic interview.
I'll be on with Dan at 3.
Sweet. We got swept by the Kansas City Royals. And, I'm just going to lay it out like this, man. That's bad for business, getting swept by the Royals.
It's unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable for them to cough up a lung against one of the worst teams in baseball. You faced a lefty yesterday who threw no harder than 88 miles an hour.
Yeah, I'm on a Royals chat right now talking about the same thing.
Hey, my goodness, you made the guy look like Sandy Koufax. I mean, what the hell's going on with this team? When is Buxton and Correa going to step up and start producing? And the only reason they had this stretch after the All-Star break was because Kirilloff, Eduard Julian got hot.
Yeah.
These two guys have saved their bacon. But now, they've regressed a little bit. Kirilov's got a sore shoulder. And your 2 big boppers, the guys who are making a combined $45 million this year, aren't getting it done. Someone's got to step up and lead and take control of this damn team.
Just a quick little aside here, because we all are on Twitter and we all follow Twitter. The new X branding, X. It's bad for business when you open your computer in a public setting. Now, I got dogs here right now. I got surrogates. We're all surrogates with each other. Mm-hmm. But like I get into the bar where you type in web addresses.
Right.
And then, I'll just show it to you. this is bad for business, these X's that are popping up here. Like this. I mean, because I'm like, hey, what is it? Oh, okay, one's Xfinity. Oh, okay, Twitter. Wow. I'm like, geez, man, people could misconstrue that if you know what I mean.
This is tic-tac-toe.
But anyway.
So moving forward now, how at this point, see, I go back to this, and when I had some fill-in time for PA, I brought it up to you. Derek Falvey, very adamant that when this season is said and done, that the acquisitions we may make at the trade deadline, those certainly could help improve our team. But the biggest improvement from this team will indeed be the bats that are already here. And that includes those two guys making a combined $45 million. And so part of my angst and my frustration with all of this is that you can play that game, just like the Vikings defense. It can't be as bad as last year.
Right.
The Twins offense can't be inept as it was during the first 90 games of the season into the break. But it is. Yeah. And it's not changing. And so that becomes worrisome when you start talking about Popkins and you start talking about Rocco. We're seeing bad base running decisions and we're seeing continued impotence at the plate with this Vikings offense. So Derek Falvey may be steadfast ultimately for a team that's only a half game up in the division about not trying to find bats and ways to spark this thing. But that is really the worrisome aspect for me is he's kind of saying we just got to sit back and ride it out. And I'm not liking the ride.
I hear what you're saying. And a lot of it's because they don't have the trade capital that they've had in past years because they've already moved Encarnacion Strand and Spencer Steer and some of those other guys.
They're probably doing really well at their new location.
I'm tripping, and I should know this. I knew Steer used to be one of us.
Yeah.
The guy with three names used to be one of us, too?
Christian Encarnacion Strand.
Bruh, Cincinnati media is all over. Now, they got De La Cruz.
Right.
Who, he's the bomb. And this Matt McLean's good. Now they got Joey Votto back. But this kid you're talking about, man, Cincinnati just loves it.
We're single-handedly rebuilding the Reds.
Well, I was going to say, they've revived the Reds.
Tyler Mahle, though.
Used to have Don Gullett.
You took Sonny Gray and Tyler Mahle off their hands. You traded, don't forget, you traded Chase Petty to the Reds for Sonny Gray. Chase Petty hit 100 as a high school senior on the gun.
We got him also 20th in the draft, something like that.
Yep. And also, instead of drafting Hunter Green, you guys, the Twins took Royce Lewis, and the Reds have Hunter Green.
Yeah, Hunter Green hasn't pitched in a year.
Yeah, he's
pitched a little bit earlier. Is he?
Yep.
He pitched earlier this year.
But similarly, injury issues with Royce Freeman, Royce Lewis. But so what is the plan into tomorrow, LaVelle? I mean, that again, the Pobo has been very steadfast on how we're going to play it. Made a minor move, and part of it kind of sounded like it might be a sweetheart deal with Jorge Lopez. He's got a child, maybe with some health challenges. Yeah. So let's get him closer to his kid. And so now he's with the Marlins, and we have is it Florno or
Floro,
excuse me.
Floro.
It's not Florio, it's not Florno, it's Floro. But now moving forward, is it a bat? Is it an arm? We're seeing regression in the pitching ranks. Joe Ryan would be the first one that comes to mind there. Mm-hmm. This is a tenuous situation for a team. Again, I go back to the 2019 team with the Bombas. 2020, Maeda's a Cy Young candidate legit in the COVID-shortened 60-game season. Mm-hmm. This year, it's been buzzless because we can't run away with this division and
this crappy division.
And correct,
and we're still up by a half.
Patience is running thin, LaVelle.
It is, and it's tough too when they make a call about a bat. They're going to say, "Well, we want Royce Lewis or we want Brooks Lee." Stuff I've been reading in recent days is that if the price is right, they could move a Sonny Gray or move a Kenta Maeda because they're both free agents after the season.
Yeah.
And if
Maeda's got a little dog to him.
Well, he's crafty, man. He's crafty. He's got his control back. Mm-hmm. He's got the breaker ball. He's got the chain. He's got all the stuff that's going on with his arsenal. He's only touching 91 on the gun, but he's using his head. He's maneuvering his way through lineups. He's tricking guys. He's hiding the fastball. Because if you only throw a 91 in today's baseball, you can't just be predictable with the fastball.
Well, that's what that Royals guy did to us yesterday, LaVelle. He was hiding his fastball.
You're pitching backwards, basically.
So the Twins have lost 5 in a row after starting the second half 9-2, which just buzzes the buzzkill. Now, this Bobby Witt Jr., who hit the grand slam on Friday, and it was quite debilitating. And I know he's hyped and he's a fun player and he's become the face of that franchise. So they're going to, try to build around him and move. Okay. So whatever. But his father, Bobby Witt.
Yeah.
Do you
pitcher?
Okay. Because he
has a baseball card.
Right. But his uncle or I believe Mike Witt
pitched for the Angels.
Right.
Threw a no-hitter.
A perfect game.
Yeah.
Against the Texas Rangers. Yep. I think it was 84 when I was a senior in high school, and it was on the final day of the season. Mm-hmm. So I remember that. But his father, Bobby, I don't remember Bobby Witt. Do you?
Bobby was a pitcher.
Right.
So, just like his brother, cousin Mike. So, he pitched for the Rangers for a while. So, no, I do remember this. I remember the father.
Well, this tight end we have here, Josh Oliver, you know who his cousin is.
Who?
Darren Oliver, the pitcher for 20 years.
Left-hander with the Rangers.
Left-hander for the Rangers. Played for like 18 teams. Started with the Rangers. Ended with the Rangers.
Yeah, he figured out a way to have a long career. He's kind of like the left-hander LaTroy Hawkins.
Wasn't he a soft tosser?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Figured out something later in his career, was able to parlay it into a few seasons of bullpen work. So, I remember Darren Oliver.
Perhaps we should have known that there was trouble on the horizon. A month and change ago with this baseball team when they got meatloafed with dessert, which means we lost 3 of 4 to the Motor City Kitties, and we gave up 21 runs. So when you're giving up within the course of 5 to 6 weeks, when you allow something called Torkelson and the rest of those cats 21 runs over 4 games,
Spencer Torkelson,
and you then come out of the break, go 9-2, lose 5 in a row, and you get swept by the Royals. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's so bad for business, man.
Well, they've got some Timberwolves to them. I mean, how many times have we sit here and watch the Wolves lose to, like, beatable teams? How the hell do you lose to the Pistons?
Right.
They're ratty.
Right.
And the Twins have done it now with Detroit. They've done it with Kansas City.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, they did it with the Nationals early in the season, too.
Yeah.
The Nationals came to Target Field and housed the Twins, too.
Well, on the Guardians, it was a split, but that 4-gamer against Cleveland, where I think they scored 5 runs the entire weekend and somehow won 2 of those games.
Yeah.
It's preposterous.
Right. It's
how bad this thing is.
It's lacking identity. It's a great point by you guys because, like, we go out to the Cappuccino Capital, all right? And I can't remember if they won 2 or 3, lost 2 or 3, whatever it was.
They won 2 or 3.
Okay, but every game was like 1-0, 2-1, 3-1, super low-scoring meat grinders. Well, they come here, and Julio Rodriguez is all of a sudden Alex Rodriguez reincarnate. You got this Cal Raleigh hitting balls 500 feet, Ty France, Eugenio Suarez, guys like that. I mean, they gave up way too many runs to the Mariners, man. That was the tell.
Right. And then when I went out to Saints Stadium, CHS Field, to work on my Dallas Keuchel column, I ran to a Twins official there, and they were like, we are concerned that this pitching, our starting rotation is not sustainable. So we need to get our offense together.
Yeah.
And look what's happened. There's been some cracks in the rotation. Yeah. And now but the sticks haven't come around. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing, too. If they do move a Gray or move a Maeda, then you'll probably see Keuchel in the rotation. Mm-hmm. He's got like a 1.2 ERA.
Yeah, Keuchel, though.
Yeah.
That's kind of sweet.
Well, he's a ground ball machine.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Well, he used to be.
He throws 88, 89.
Yeah.
Gets a lot of ground balls. It's been working in AAA. Don't know.
He won't fit in here. We're pitch to contact.
Sometimes it's
we prefer fly balls.
If it's Joe Ryan, it's pitch to explosion. But
so how much desperation is there for this team to make it to the playoffs? A year ago, they were kind of not in a dissimilar spot, and then Cleveland runs away with it down the stretch. This year, we're in a spot where we have the division, and we think we should have it by the throat by now. We do not. What if Cleveland runs away with it again? Is there some desperation or immense pressure that this team needs to get over this hump and win this thing one way or another?
See, I can't see history repeating itself, because last year was just a classic case of comprehensive capitulation. Down the stretch. They just fell apart in September.
Comprehensive capitulation. I like it.
So I can't see them duplicating that this year.
Okay. So everyone calm down.
The pitching staff is better. They just got they got to figure out a way to get some functional offense going on, man.
And they got to figure out Griffin Jacks. I mean, I like Griffin Jacks, man. I mean, I've seen him enough this year to be like, he has some dog in him with the way he throws that thing occasionally. But just of late, it's been dog, but it's been all bark and it's been lacking some bite.
No bite. I know. Yeah, he got off to a shaky start. Didn't he kind of righted himself? And now he's gotten a little shaky. But I'm more worried about Durant.
Yeah.
Durant come in and he couldn't throw his breaking ball.
Yeah.
So he got predictable against Bobby Witt.
Wow.
And the ball ended up being crushed for a grand slam.
102.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I read a column, a 3-2 or something a week and change ago, that 104 is unhittable. Oh, no, wait, or was that the hold in or hold out with Neal? Yeah. Love you, Vay.
I am stunned that they signed Neal.
But you know
I thought
what?
that was headed to a bad ending.
Somebody who's racetrack raised and has been compensated to make predictions for 3 decades.
Right.
That's how we joke, because you're going to swing and miss more than you're going to hit.
Yeah.
And plus, we're fan raised. All right. Enjoy Dan today. What time are you on? 3?
3 o'clock.
Sweet. From the perch?
Yep.
Hell yeah. Good seeing you, man.
Good to see you, too.
LaVelle Neal III, columnist for the Star Tribune. Kevin O'Connell had a press conference over the weekend, and it behooves 9 to noon to replay it, and that's going to take place in
The Fan.
Final segment, 9 to noon, and the final segment when we're not in studio because I can't do the wraps on site. It's brought to you by Casey's. So whether it's 89-cent medium, fountain and frozen drinks all summer long, 89 cents, or it's the thin crust, the signature thin crust pizza. You know the pizza's already amazing for thin crust, and you got it from Casey's. Casey's here for good. They bring you the final segment, 9 to noon, and we bring you a presser playback from Saturday's practice. Head coach Kevin O'Connell, just shortly after walkthrough and prior to practice on Saturday, he addressed the media. So let's listen to hear what the head coach had to say.
Appreciate you guys being out here today. Big day, kind of culminating a really good start to our camp. Our guys have been locked in. It's the acclimation period is always unique for us just because of how we handle the spring. Everything we do for the most part outside of yesterday for a couple periods, we are full speed without full pads on. So it can be an adjustment at times for our guys. We've handled it really, really well, and I think they're really excited to fill these stands and the tents out here and really have a great environment, which we always do out here with our great fans. So, this facility, the opportunity we get to be here for training camp is something we don't take for granted, and we hope to see as many fans out as we possibly can. Just wanted to give you guys an update on, just since I have not talked with you since earlier in the week. Jalen Naylor sustained kind of a contact leg injury in a clean play on a competitive ball in the air, and just he's day to day. We're hoping to turn him over and have him pretty ready to roll here, hopefully early next week, and I'll keep you guys posted. But Jalen's doing really well. And then just before I take any questions, I did want to congratulate Chip Scoggins from the Star Tribune, Journalist of the Year award. I'll tell you what, as somebody that didn't finish too high in very many awards last year, to not only be on the podium, but to be, recognized, that's pretty cool. So I just wanted to let you know that when our great staff let me know that happened. They did indeed inform me of that. I'm not exactly keeping tabs on those, but anytime I hear that stuff, it's awesome to hear. But with that, I'll turn it over to you guys.
Kevin, the other day Kirk was talking about how he decided this year to hire a full-time coach off to the side and said it would be sort of in his free time, but there might be a point at which he'd ask you if they could do some stuff here. And so, A, I was just curious what you thought about his idea to do that, and B, if you think it's possible that there could be some kind of synergy there.
Yeah, I absolutely think it's possible for synergy just because of what we have set up with Tyler and already what Tyler and Uriah and Josh do for our players, and we're constantly bringing in whether it's massage therapists, ART, different things that help our players and different times of the season, different times of the year. And I've been around some players and teammates that have had people come out and make sure whatever helps from a time management standpoint. If we can do that here, we can help those guys out, and we certainly have a we're lucky to have a facility that allows us to do that and have space to do that. So I think it's a great idea. I think kind of along the lines with what you guys and a lot of our fans saw as far as his preparation for games. That's in total alignment, with where he's at, and just really cool to see him as he continues to kind of, carve away and shape what that process looks like for him for the rigors of a regular season.
What's that line there, though, of allowing outside people in your building to do that? It's a good thing. It's a good thing. But where do you sort of draw the line of, this is our team, our program?
Yeah.
We can't have guys just arbitrarily trying to get their people in the building.
You almost even had the slogan right there. You were close. I think it's the communication on the front end where it's on us to make sure our players know that that's something that we're not against, but at the same time, with anything, there's got to be some level of restriction. It can't just be free-flowing access to the building, and they understand that. And once you establish a routine, we're right along there with them, where I may walk down the hall and it's the fifth Tuesday or sixth Tuesday of the season, and I see Kirk's, I don't know if it's a male or female, but I see Kirk's person come in, and I know exactly what they're doing. I know where he's going to be. I might even have a question for him in regards to the game plan, and I know where he's going to be at that point. And that's why we encourage all of our players, and Kirk spoke about it the other night, about that routine and really what it means to truly be a pro. And we want to encourage all of our guys, whether it's, a first-year player or a guy in his 12th year.
Coach Daniels yesterday talked about Kirk addressing the team and talking to the team and said it was a really great message. I was just wondering kind of how that came about, if that was Kirk's idea, if that's just something you have him do, or...
Yeah, Kirk and I, just through our dialogue throughout the summer, I always try to share some of my messaging to the team with him and some of our other captains from last year. As well as we've got a leadership group that I meet with pretty regularly. And he kind of mentioned, like how similar some of the thoughts he had were for our team. And just at this point in his career, the old saying, knowing what I know now type of thing, why not share that information with your teammates, and just how he delivered the message, understanding how important, the relationships are, not to take for granted one moment that we have together and how finite our opportunities are. So I just thought I wanted to give him the floor. He had mentioned, hey, maybe post-practice, maybe just for the offense. And, I thought, no, you're going to stand up. This is going to be a good thing, and you're going to stand up in front of our guys in our team meeting room. And, for the better part of, however long it was, you could hear a pin drop in there, and then just the excitement towards the end of, how excited. Just hearing from our quarterback in that moment as we kicked off training camp was really important.
And Kevin, I think that would be Neal on this point in terms of what you would have to do to get him back out here.
Brian O'Neal off to the side. Where is he at in his recovery process? No, he's not.
Yeah, he's, that plan we talked about earlier in the week. Yeah, he's probably, like most of us expected, he's probably ahead of that schedule and his activity level throughout the day, whether it be more in the walkthroughs, more in potentially the practices here in the not-so-distant future. But we really don't want to put a timeline on it. I'm really relying on Tyler and Uriah to make sure. What I've said is I know Brian will be prepared for the season. We want to give him the best possible opportunity to when the time is right, fully go through repetitions so that he can be prepared for the season. And with a player like Brian that's played as much as he has, that time on the football side is not as important as making sure medically, we've crossed every T and dotted every I.
I know it's really early on, but what do you like so far just about the cornerback group and I guess the competition that's there within that room with a lot of the young guys?
Yeah, the whole group I've really felt, they're taking to the coaching. We're playing differently. We're asking them to play with different, kind of keys and vision principles and being physical, at the line of scrimmage and all really from guys we brought in post-draft all the way to, the guys that are out there with that first group. It's been really cool to see them kind of, as with every player right now early on in this acclimation phase, as we shift to the full speed mindset, you can see growth on a play-to-play basis early on. And then what happens is once you've kind of had that early growth, then hopefully you get the consistency that goes alongside with it so that they can build really over the next month to go into the season with the ultra mindset that I can go out and do my job every single Sunday.
The process of identifying Javon Williams and what all went into that, just from what you remember?
Yeah, first and foremost, his size. I've always, kind of known. You always know as an offensive guy, those bigger corners just because they're long, they can play physical. I think he's done a really, really good job since he's gotten here, physically preparing himself as a bigger corner. He's a very strong player. He'll cause a lot of problems for us around the line of scrimmage with reroutes and the rhythm and timing of passing games. And then, he's savvy. He's a smart player, very instinctive, and just with the communication that goes on with our defense, but then the idea of making the offense uncomfortable, whatever that may mean, the corners play a strong role in that. Both in the run and pass game, and he's shown some really good ownership of that early on. And like I said, that acclimation phase, you never want to get too carried away with any one particular performance, but what guys can demonstrate is that mental ownership. And now we get into, starting on Monday, those full padded practices, and it really starts to feel like we can dive into that evaluation competition phase.
Last few questions. How much have you and Flo had schematic conversations back and forth? Have you, I guess?
Yeah, it would be unfair to say daily because it's multiple times a day. In a lot of ways, I'm fascinated by just learning right alongside some of our guys. When I'm not installing things on offense and handling some of the other things that I have to handle, I like to try to just sit in the back, with a pen and paper and try to learn myself. And then I might have questions for him, or we may talk about, subtle things like how we're going to practice, what our intent of a period is going to be on this day, 2 weeks from now, what those joint practices look like. And really kind of something I knew that would take place that's been really cool for me is just his experience as a former head coach, having that, having just another former head coach in the building that I can bounce things off of, talk through things offensively, defensively. He has a great understanding of the kicking game with Matt Daniels, and I told our team I feel really, really good about just the alignment of our schemes and our play callers in all three phases, and I couldn't be more pleased with where we're at right now. Now we've got to compete against each other every day, and he makes life hard on us at times. So maybe if you ask me in a week or two, I might not have such a rosy answer, but it's been great so far.
Speaking of schemes, Coach, a long time we did a base 4-3 defense, switched to a 3-4, coming in with Flores. There were some questions. I've heard you're going to stick forward with that 3-4. What do you like, and what kind of flexibility does that give you on defense?
Yeah, I think the key word you just said there that I caught there at the end was flexibility. I think one of the things I'm most excited about our scheme is we can be really dynamic and do a lot of things out of a lot of different personnel groupings that carry over to the others. And then it's what kind of body types do you have? How are you trying to maximize each player's skill set, move guys around, and truly present looks that require a lot of communication, a lot of dialogue, a lot of time on task for offenses, and then more importantly, our guys absorb all that, and then they're able to take it all and go fast and play fast, which is a process ongoing. There's going to be mistakes made, and what I love about them the most is in that meeting room, the accountability, and then just how much the players are responding to that, and you see the improvement the very next day. I still think back to a play Cam Bynum made in a 2-minute in the spring where I can remember, just sitting in the back here in Flo and Durante make a coaching point about a certain look, and the very next day the exact same scenario came up, and he was able to make a play on a ball and intercept the ball to end a 2-minute period. So that's the type of things you look for as a head coach. I am in full confidence of the coaching of our schemes, but when you start seeing that immediate turnaround and player ownership of things, gets you really excited, knowing that you got the right guys.
Last question. When it comes to the backup running back situation, you guys didn't get a veteran with trust in Kene and Ty.
Yep.
I guess what did you see from those guys last year when they didn't have a lot of reps to kind of believe in them to be paired with Alexander?
Yeah, I think you take a look at skill sets first and foremost, and Ty demonstrated a lot in preseason last year. His opportunities didn't really come up throughout the regular season. He had the ankle that kind of set him back there, kind of the first third of the season. And Kene, you just watch the kickoff returns. You watch him in practice every day. There's an explosiveness to when he has the ball in his hands. So I think, pairing those guys and really allowing a competition throughout that whole room to play out, allow those guys to get a lot of touches this training camp and in the preseason and really feel like we can start to hone in on roles and responsibilities behind Alex, knowing that we also rely heavily on CJ and his versatility, both in the run and pass game and what he allows us to do, on the grass to be versatile on offense. And the leadership those two guys are providing in that room for Coach Modkins has been really cool to see early on, and I can only imagine it'll grow and be a pretty special thing as the season goes on.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Kevin O'Connell from over the weekend with some interesting Cousins nuggets, Cuz Nugs, and he joins Dan Barrero later today on the exclusive Vikings Radio Network Perch, which right now is the home for Dan Cole, the Common Man, and Tenabe, his beloved interim. Hey, Common, what's going on?
Well, we're down here field side. We got a bird's eye view, as we like to say. Tenabe and I were just testing the tackling dummies. They're working very well. They are very dumb. Blocking sleds are in good working order. First day of padded practice. I didn't put any pads on yet. I don't want them to mistake me for some type of one of the rookie draft picks, so I'm staying up here in the perch. But yeah, we're excited. We'll be here from noon until 3. This is one of, I believe, 8 shows we have here. The legendary Mark Rosen will join us at 2:00, and our special guest today, Jordan Hicks. He's got a ring. He won one with Philadelphia. As a matter of fact, I'm assuming he was a part of that Philadelphia team that beat that Viking. Now, we weren't that far out of that 31-7 game, as you know. But, so he'll join us at about 1:00. So we're looking forward to it. It's our first day out here, out at that TCO Performance Center, or as I like to call it, the New Winter Park. How are things inside the studio in the cozy confines of TCO?
Oh, things are beautiful. It's climate controlled. But before we leave, and Good Times just dropped in, I have 2 quick questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Does it?
Never.
Will it?
Never.
What's happening to the lights here at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center? All of a sudden, they're starting to flicker.
Because radios all over the Twin Cities are now tuning into the Tough Love Covenant, ladies and gentlemen.
And if you were an undrafted rookie running around the field doing a 4.2, and like Chip Scoggins asked you, well, what college did you go to? What would the answer
School of Hard
be?
Knocks.
All right. Love you, buddy. Have a good show.
Yep.